to our new show, which is coming to you live with my co-host, Joy Williams, and also Lori Ford. And we're here to give hope and have some lively discussions. We'll be discussing many topics, and we hope that we can give hope to those that have lost hope in things that should still be in place. You want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, guys. Welcome to Hope Uplifting Discussions.
Hello, we hope you find it engaging and that you tell others.
Well, we have in the past been discussing some of the things that have turned people off about coming to organized churches and a lot of things that affect our society. And of course, we are all from the Christian background, Christian church. Being the title of Bishop Bright, that means I'm involved in the church. And we're just trying to draw people back to unite and to fellowship together. Many of the reasons that people don't come to church has, been a lot of myths and some hurts, some disappointments. And so we're going to talk about some things that will bring hope to building a church. It's not so strenuous, it's not so mythical, but it's being empowering people to live in this life and expecting to live in the other life. Any comments?
So I feel like I've heard several reasons as to why people do not come to church.
Right.
One of the main reasons that I hear, especially from people who are my age, I hear a lot of people feel like it's hypocritical, and that a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people within the church are judgmental, and they don't feel like, especially when you're not perfect, because none of us are.
Right.
And they may come into the church because they're not perfect, and they feel like they need God's help and they need Jesus in their life, and then they get there and they may not be welcome as they are. And so I guess the question is, how do we get those people who feel that way to come back and want to keep coming back despite those issues?
Right. Okay. Lori?
Well, another reason I think that people don't come is, I think there's a mentality that your life has to be really bad to come to church. Like, if things are well, if things are good, if you're having success, then why do I need to come to church?
Right. Well, I think when people come to church, they're looking for some companionship or looking for someone that can touch them. Because the other thing that I hear is technology has made it so convenient that you don't really have to go to church. You can just turn on the television or turn on the radio, and you can hear basically the same thing. But there's nothing like being touched and having a friend, because the people on television, they don't see you or they can't feel you the way you can when you're working together. And I think this true friendship comes from that as well. But I think somehow we've made, with religions and denominations, we made it very difficult for people to overcome those barriers that you both just mentioned. And so I think we need to work on our people issues, and how to solve problems and work with people and recognize that, as the scriptures say, once go their eye, so we have to remember that we're not perfect now, that we're a long way from where we were, but got a long way to go to be what we should be. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we also need to get back to, the community aspect of church. And like I've been in church pretty much my whole life, so there were most Sundays we would be at church from sun up until sundown, and we would just be there and just fellowshipping with each other, and just, it was more of a family aspect, and we all felt really connected to each other. And so I think that should also be one of our other focuses, is to be more unified and to create that family feeling, so that when people do come and we get new members in the church, that they feel that they're a part of a family. And that I feel like that'll be something that will also help people to continue to come back to the church and stay longer. I mean, because we get I see churches get new visitors all the time. People say they try this church, they try that church, but then it doesn't stick.
Right.
So a lot of the focus is to make sure that it sticks and that people keep coming back week after week.
Right. Because they feel a part of it rather than under something. But I felt it's interesting that you say, because I grew up where we stayed in church all day. You know, I went to church for Sunday school in the morning, and we got back home, time to go to bed on Sundays. And then we had midweek services, we had all of these things. And one of the things that in the research that I've done is because even though we gathered that often, we really were not feeding the people with how to deal with this life. We were always trying to make them more heavenly minded than earthly good. So I think that's an issue as you bring up. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Excuse me. I think there's a real issue. I mean, people need people, you know, and even though we say we don't, we need people.
Right. Do you feel like how you said that you were at church several days a week? Do you think that nowadays we're too busy? Do you think that everybody has their blinders on and they're kind of living their own lives? Do you feel like people are at times, they feel like they're too busy with their own lives to go and support something that's happening at their church or at the local church?
I kind of think so. I really like to say things have become more convenient or available than they were in our time. There was nothing else to do, so we did everything at church. You know, we gathered with people we were comfortable with, people who believed like us. You know, and if you go way back in history, the church in the African American community was the only place we could gather, and you know, have our own conversation to talk about the things that we had in common. And so it was the courthouse, it was the counselors, it was you know, everything that we needed to live. And now we have other avenues to turn. We have more money. You know, we didn't have medical insurance, so we relied on faith and prayer. We you know, people thought we were weird, so we stayed with people who didn't think we were. So I think that we became our own, if I might use this, worst enemy, because we didn't see it changing. We didn't change with the world. Our young people started leaving the church, and we didn't understand why. Because, you know, we were always raised that this is the only place to be. You know.
Do you feel like the church it teaches us or equips us on how to live better?
If you're saying live better, are you saying live in this life?
Live in this life. Live a fuller, complete life. Because I feel like, I mean, people chase after a lot of things in hopes of being fulfilled.
Yes.
But not necessarily really touching the issues of why they're chasing after things in the first place.
In a way, yeah, I think so. But I think what happened is that we were ignorant of a lot of things, and we kept passing the ignorance on to other people. And I think we can pursue this right after we take this break, and we'll be right back.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at alicia@whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Well, welcome back to our show, Hope, Uplifting Discussions. And I'm here today, I'm Bishop Herbert Bright. I'm here today with our co-hosts, Joy Williams and Lori Ford. And we are just discussing things that could make life better for us and also make sure that we have a religious, or I shouldn't say a spiritual growth. And just before the commercial break, Lori had asked a question about, are we equipping people, am I saying this right, equipping people to live in this life or today? And I think that we have missed that. I think that in the old churches that we were more focused on being religious, having they used to sing a song, give it that old time religion, and it was all, so we separated church from natural life. And again, it came back to the communities we were raised in. There wasn't a lot of people, successful people that we saw. There was, if you asked somebody about being a designer, they didn't really know what you were talking about. Or designers really, they only thought of it being for dressing up or something like that. So there was no one there to teach you how to live here. There was no career planning. There was no financial planning. There was no things that are essential to life today. So I guess my response is no. I think that's what churches are doing today. And the ones that are doing that are really heavily criticized by the religious movement because they just want to remain in the Bible and not knowing that everything is biblically centered, and it's theocentric. But we have to know that we're in this world but not of the world. Jesus said he'd leave us in this world, so we do things, but we don't conform to this world. But that doesn't mean that we can't be lawyers, accountants, or judges, or things like that. They took scriptures out of ignorance, like judge not, and then they kept us out of the law field. Different things like that. They said people lie, but they didn't know. They just going by what they heard. They were passing on myths. So I think that is the focus of a generation today, is in order to, I guess, grow the church back to where it was. We have to keep in mind that we have all types of people in the church now. It's interesting on the day of Pentecost that while we excluded it here from Azusa Street, we kind of dealt with people not having business. I'm talking about in particular churches. But on the day of Pentecost, the day after, it was business people that the disciples went out to minister to. They were there on business for business. They were not there for a church or anything else. And so they came together and communed together. So they all, I think, my opinion is, when they shared everything in common, is that they realized what differences they had and then put them together to become one community.
I mean, just to expound on that point, when it comes to whether church equips us to live everyday life, I think, like you said previously, in the past, churches may have focused more so on just the religious aspect, but I do think that present day, we're evolving into a place that does focus on, I mean, I know that at our church, we've had, like, financial seminars before, because, I mean, these are things that we deal with on an everyday basis. So to learn how to properly deal with your finances and to properly, like, different aspects of life, how to deal with anger and how to manage your anger, how to effectively communicate with your spouse. These are things that the Bible equips us with the answers to.
Right.
And these are things that present day we do focus on in church, and it helps us on an everyday basis on how to live, like I said, how to deal with your anger, how to deal with your finances, how to communicate more effectively. So things like that, I think that's where the evolution is coming into play, where we're taking the Bible and we're applying it to our everyday life.
Yeah, right, and I think that's very good, because we have counseling, we have wedding retreats, we have women's retreats to deal with women's issues, we have men's retreats, and I think in the old church, the pastor was the wherewithal. If he understood it or she understood it, and mostly he back in those days, whatever they understood, that's what they taught you. So to even discuss a financial program, we didn't have the money to discuss it. There was no need to discuss it. You took the mason jar and emptied out the pennies or whatever you did. And so as we started moving in, it became what the church looked at as worldly, not understanding what worldly meant, because it was not something that we, I guess, we did, and so we kind of hindered the growth. I'm a product of that. Every time you wanted to be something, they would tell you about how that would counter your salvation. So instead of encouraging people to go after careers, if someone did, then they were really an outcast of the church. College degrees was out, anything, that was back in the day. So that's not every church, but there are a lot of churches. The most educated people were usually the leaders of the church. So now we got most all of the members are educated, so we should be pushing that.
So how do we get past the stereotypes that we have in church, or that other people may see or think about the church? Like, how do we get past those previous thoughts or those previous hurts that may have people wary about coming back to the church? How do we move past that? How do we get people to come back to the church? How do we get to that place?
That's a good question. So I'm going to let Sister Lori give us an answer to that.
What do you think?
Well, I think one of the things, like we were talking about, is we definitely need to be more community conscious and offering things that are of concern to the community, as Bishop Bright was talking about, education, all those kinds of things, and financial seminars. The Bible has a lot to say about finances.
Yes. Oh, yes.
The Bible has a lot to say about health.
Right.
And these are pressing things that, people battle with, they struggle with. And I feel like, if we reach out, from a biblical standpoint, and for people to come and learn, that would draw people to the church. Because like you said, the church didn't offer anything like that before.
Right. It was not there. I think the church really needs, and I know most religious folks won't believe this because they just want you to believe in God, but I think we need a lot of public relations. I think a lot of people that left the church because of these same issues, they don't think it exists in our churches anymore. They don't believe that we think that outside of the box, if you will, or the box of being saved and sanctified, and all of those things. But we need to realize we need our own. We need to make ourselves a community, and you can't do it without having these other types of skills operating in them in the church. And so we need to be able to let people know we're not the same. That we still promote Christ, we still promote salvation, but we also realize that we need to be in this world, and we need to be the leaders of this world. And we're going to be right back right after this break, and we're going to continue on with this discussion.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Well, welcome back to our television show, Hope, Lively Discussions, and I'm Bishop Herbert Bright. I'm here with my co-hosts, Joy Williams and Lori Ford, and we're talking about many things that's kind of been missing out of church, which is evolving back into the church. We are not excluding the Lord from the church, but we are finding ways that we can include Him and seek Him in all our ways so we can be successful in this world and be ready for the world to come. So we've had some lively discussions here, and I just anything else that we want to.
Yeah. Well, before the break, we were kind of talking about how we can get people to come back to church, and how we can get people to kind of get rid of that stain that's in their mind about what they may have heard about church in the past, or previous hurts that they may have had from their experiences at church before. And I think that a big key to that is to show that we're human as well. We're not in church because we're perfect. We're in church because we need Jesus, and we're there because we're not perfect. And so we need to get back to showing people that we're human as well, and that this is a walk, and it's ups and downs. There's going to be high points, there's going to be low points, and that is what your walk with Jesus Christ is going to be like. You're going to have up moments, you're going to have down moments, and it's not going to be perfect. And church isn't just for when you're down, it's for when you're up as well. So I think that it's important to, as well as show people that we incorporate things that are in our everyday lives, we also need to continue to show them that we're human and that we're all on this walk together, and that come back because this is a community and we're all trying to get through this life together.
Amen. I agree with that. And the other thing is, I think from the minister's standpoint, we need to make sure that our messages are relevant. The Bible will never change, but there are changes in the Bible that impact our lives today. And we're not living in the days of the Jonahs and the things, but their stories gives us hope and gives us direction. So we learn about what happened to them in those days, but we don't try to be them in this day. So, Laurie, do you have any closing comments you'd like to have?
Well, also I think what we alluded to earlier is continuing to create that sense of community.
Right.
You know, that sense of family. Just thinking about, you know, when I was growing up, and it's like we had a youth center, and you know, that old thing that everybody knew everybody, you know, parents, and knew where you were, and you know, we were all together.
Right.
You know, we traveled together, we did stuff together.
Right.
So, you know, creating that community within the church. So people they can't wait to get there. It's my family.
Right. But you brought up something very interesting, because one of the things we are lacking in is reaching the youth for more than just entertainment, you know, or sports events. Even though sometimes in the church we get them in our churches, but they're still basketball players, musicians, or you know, stuff. But we want to instill Christ in them and still allow them to be what God's given them a talent to be at the same time. But at the same time, as you said, a community where we are doing things together and we're responsible for each other. I think that's interesting. I think that's something we could talk about because our youth are not lost. Our youth is just neglected at this time because we try to make them be what we would like to be, or what we think they should be, rather than what God created them to be.
Right. And I mean, like we've been talking about kind of this whole entire episode, is unconventional methods of reaching the youth. Because the thing is that, like, Triumphant Life Community Church, I literally, like, I posted a picture not too long ago of we're on the steps and I'm yay high, and I used to love, like, when I was a child, I loved coming to church. Like, it was fun to me. It was a community. It was like, it was fun, and I think that we need to find new methods to reach the youth and make it fun for them and make it something that they want to do, as opposed to, oh, my mom is dragging me to church again. Like, so creating those unconventional methods, I think,
outside the box.
Yeah, it's important. It's definitely important.
I think not only for the youth, and as we've alluded to in this conversation, is that we need to make this available to everyone, so that they'll be excited about being there. It's not taken away from who they are, but it's adding something to their lives. And so we plan in the future to have even guests to come on and discuss, you know, some of the issues that they have concern about bringing hope to our community. All we hear on the news is the doom and gloom, and that we're about to go down, but there is hope. And so we just thank everybody for joining us, and we want you to just tune in to us, and we'll be just having dialogue. We're just really talking about things that are real in our lives. And not only we're not putting anyone down or trying to exalt ourselves, but we're just talking about the things that are concerned, and I think it helps build the kingdom. We're here to build a kingdom, and in every kingdom, as we spoke about a few weeks ago, there's many types of vessels. So you don't have to be perfect to be in the house, in the great house. You just need to be in the great house. God can use you with whatever gifts you have and whatever talents you have. We're just giving them to the kingdom. All right. So again, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us here on Radio Vision Network. Thank you so much to having us on and allowing us to air this show. And again, thank you, Joy. As you want to close with us.
No, we will see you. We will see you next time. It was a great discussion, and we're looking forward to the next one.
And we have hope that you'll be back.
Again, this is Bishop Bright. See you next time.